So, not gonna lie, I've been playing a lot of WOTLK Classic recently, and I found a number of little nitty gritty and underrated tips that I'm very surprised that many players still don't know about yet. We're going to be talking about little tricks to make a little bit of extra gold, vital mistakes people are making to waste gold, how to power level your alts even faster, and just generally how to save a lot of time. Now, the first tip on this list is never downgrade your emblems. If you have spare emblems of Valor available or whatever latest raid emblem is, what you want to do is buy the BOE gear. At the moment, we have epic risk gear available for emblems of Valor, which on my server are selling in the ballpark of 3,000 gold. And that's quite a lot of gold for something you just have lying around on your character screen that you're not using. So don't be downgrading your emblems of Valor to heroism to buy heirlooms or something like that. Talking about emblems of heroism, what you can do is flip them to make a little bit of extra cheeky gold by buying the throwing weapon called Lilyhoof's Winged Blades and disenchant it for an Abyss Crystal, which on my server at the moment are 150 gold. Alternatively, if you don't have an enchanter, you can just buy Frozen Orbs, which are about 60 gold on my server right now. Now, another currency that is massively underrated is Stonekeeper Shards, which obviously drop from Heroics when you have Winter Grasp in your grasp. Now, you can obviously use these to buy the Wintergrass token that awards 2,000 honour to then buy PvP pieces, but a better thing to do with these is to actually send them to an alt, right? Because if you look at the item, it is actually bind on account. This means you can buy some seriously good leveling gear for your alts with honour points, because you can go to the Silverwing or Warsong vendors, which are here on the map, and they will drop some really good pieces all the way from level 20 up to level 60. Like for instance the Lawkeeper's Ring, which is a really good caster spell power ring, and then later on you can get stuff like the epic leg pieces like the Sentinel's Plate leggings, which are very, very good, equal to raid quality stats. The Arathi vendor has some good pieces like the Highlander's Lizard Hide boots that actually increase your movement speed, but you're best off just buying the Gigachad Grand Marshal gear at level 60. This will complement your heirlooms very, very nicely, so you can just steamroll through Outland leveling. And bear in mind, you won't even have to touch a battleground to get all of this insane gear. Just remember also that the Alterac Valley vendor has better spell power offhands, which are just slightly better than the Grand Marshal option. And on the topic of juicing up your alts for leveling, remember to enchant your heirlooms. Just remember that heirlooms are treated in the game as a level 1 item, therefore only classic WoW enchants will work on them, so you can get greater stats on your chest gear, and then something like the Crusader enchant on your weapon. Or for instance, if you're a hunter, get some kind of dual wielding melee weapon with your heirlooms and then enchant it with something big like an agility enchant. A spell power enchant, even if it's a classic WoW one, is also very, very overpowered low level because you can get 30 spell power at level 1. Now I want to talk about one of the most underrated add-ons called Loon Best in Slot. This adds a little tooltip to all items in the game to tell you whether it's a BIS piece or a pre-BIS piece or an alternative best in slot piece. It makes tracking your best in slot gear so much easier. You no longer have to scan through Atlas loot for gear, since it just has a big menu to show you where all of the best loot drops from for every single spec in the game, including best gems and enchants. It's an absolutely godsend companion add-on. By the way guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing, because if we get 130,000 subscribers before the end of the year, I am legit going to dye my hair green. You also get access to my subscriber only video, which is a big add-on and weak aura setup video. And I also have a behemoth spreadsheet of all the best add-ons and weak auras for every class in the game, so subscribe and go and check that one out. So for tip number 5, you want to finish questing in Stone Peaks and Icecrown. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are in the game, everyone needs to be doing it. It's the activity where you can get the most out of your time for playing the game. This is because you will farm badges and a truckload of gold at the same time. The gold power is better actually at level 80 because of the increased gold reward from quests. When you are raid geared, the questing is fast as hell, and you don't need any of the quest rewards, so it can all be vended for even more gold. And even if you don't need badges, it's worth farming them, since you will get in the ballpark of 150 badges by completing these 2 zones. That's 10 Lilyhoof's Winged Blade. That's going to be in the, the ballpark when you disenchant them all of 1.5 gold value. So Bob's your uncle, that is an insane amount of gold. Now a little tip while you're leveling, if you don't have the winter grass buff that gives you bonus XP, remember you can actually layer hop until you get it. Most servers will just have it by default because you're on a big server that always wins it, but I know that the lower populated servers don't always have it, so that can be very easily fixed by jumping onto a different layer. Another quick tip for the Alliance, most people put their Hearthstone at the front of the inn. But not many people know this. There's an innkeeper upstairs, an assistant innkeeper you can also set your Hearthstone to, and he is actually closer to the portals because you can just go through this little secret corridor, jump off a ledge, and you get to the portals faster. I mean, it only probably saves about 5 seconds, but it is a thing. Now, there's actually some value at the minute to farming old world materials because it can sometimes be very profitable. This is happening quite a lot on broken economy servers where people are so rich they have an entire resource eradicated from the auction house, like something like wool cloth. At the minute, like on some servers, wool cloth is selling more than frostweave, which is just nutty. My friend told me that she's actually been selling shadow gems for 1.5k each. Okay, so she's just been farming Shadowfang Keep to get loads of wool cloth and shadow gems. So do your research on the auction house, check what old world materials are selling for a truckload and go and farm them and go and sell them. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen on every server. Like for instance, my server, Pirewood EU. For some reason, the economy is just really great and balanced on this server. So yeah, the old world materials are just selling for a normal price. Remember that you should always be off-spec rolling when people don't need the gear. I've been doing this since launch, right, and I've managed to grab myself a full set of epic tank gear on my DK. So when I'm fully buffed up, I have like over 30k health, which is nutty considering it's not even my main spec. This came in very useful the other night when we couldn't find a tank for a Nax 10 run, so I decided, you know, I'll tank it myself. I got the gear, which was interesting because I'd never tanked before. Well, I have tanked before years and years ago, but I haven't tanked the absolute donkeys, so yeah, it was quite eventful. But, you know, a scuff run is always better than no run at all. You never know when an offset is going to be useful, whether it's a tank set for farming gold, or maybe in the future you just get bored of playing your main spec and you want to try something else. Oh, but look, you have an entire set of the previous phase's gear in a different spec, so I can just like respec and I'll have the gear ready for me, and I don't need to farm all of that gear all over again. So if you unequip the rep tabards while doing heroic dungeons, you actually gain reputation with 5 different Northrend reputations all at once. Not only is this a really good way to get closer to your exalted title, but the Silver Covenant or the Sunreef reputation does actually give some pretty cool rewards that I don't think many people actually know about. So first of all, you can get a cool tabard and a cool pet, and then you can also get a pretty good ground mount and a flying mount, the Quel'Daray Steed or the Silver Covenant Hippogriff, or the Sunreaver Dragonhawk and the Sunreaver Hawkstrider. Now you will need to wait until a Trial of a Grand Crusader is actually out before you can get these rewards, and they do also require a currency that you get during the event called the Champion Seal, but the point is it does actually require you to get exalted in order to unlock those rewards, so get that done now in preparation. You also do unlock more daily quests for being exalted with the Silver Covenant and then representing them as a champion, so that will just yield you a bit more extra gold when you do this daily quest hub. But we'll talk more about the Argent tournament definitely in a later video. Anyway guys, my name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.